What's up, guys? So we're heading into the windy part of the season. The fall, it always seems like the wind's blowing, it's howling, and it just seems like it's always a tough day at the golf course when you gotta deal with a lot of wind. So today I'm gonna give you a quick tip to help you keep the ball flight down, spin rate down, and be able to control where that shot's gonna go. Before you get to hear the nuggets though, like and subscribe below, guys. Comment what we wanna hear more of, and I'll answer your questions. Let's get to work. Okay guys, so today is not really a huge windy day, but you can kind of probably hear it in the audio. It's blowing a little bit. And so when we get into windy conditions, a lot of the times we struggle with losing the ball after we hit it. Now, what I remind players is the ball is mostly only affected after it hits apex. It'll blow on it as it's going up there, but it still has velocity at that point. But once you hit apex and the ball starts falling to the earth, that is when your ball is the most susceptible to whatever the wind pattern is. With you, against you, crisscross, whatever. So when we're here working on trying to flight these shots, we really want to try to keep that apex nice and shallow and not have a huge peak. And so when we work on these shots, what we're trying to do is keep the ball flight down and the spin rate down. And the first mistake a lot of people have is they think they got to put the ball back in their stance, and then they think they got to hit down on it really hard. So you get the ball back in stance, hit hard on it, try to hit like some Zach Radford stinger or something crazy, and that's just not required, okay? The issues with those shots is when you get hitting down on it harder, you're increasing the spin loft window, assuming you actually do a good job of taking the loft off, then maybe not. But if you don't do a good job of returning the club with less loft by impact, and you hit down on it, now you're just increasing the spin wedge window and you're just going to hit spinnier shots. It's not going to work. Now, the simpler solution is to find a way to slow the ball speed down so we slow the spin rate down. So the first rule of thumb is you always club up. You can go from 8 to 7. I've even gone 9 to 7. The point is have more club than you think is needed, especially when we're talking about an into the wind shot or a crossing wind shot, because now I can keep the trajectory where I want to. The second element, I like to get set up in a way that reminds me of swinging easy. So we get set up in a way that's like a pitch shot. So I'll get, shoulder width stance, flare in the lead foot, a little pressure forward, so I'm already kind of heavy on my left side. And then all I'm trying to do from there is make an armsy swing at like 60%. And that shot stays very low. For me with 7-iron, it goes about 130, 140, depending on the swing. 7-iron is usually a 175 club. But I can count on it staying underneath the wind. And I don't have to worry about the wind blowing it around as it comes back to the earth. Now you can rev it up a little bit from this stance. Most of the times I'll play it at 60%, but I could play it upwards of 80%, so this would be like more of a 150-ish kind of swing. And that starts to climb in elevation though when I do that. So now the shot starts to get a little higher, so it just depends on how windy is the day. And this shot is usually pretty good for a 7-iron, 6-iron, and down to wedge. Not really one I recommend in 4-5 or hybrids, but not impossible. So again, on the ball, if I were to hit a normal 7-iron, you can see the shape of the shot being a lot higher in this swing. So that's about triple on what I was just doing a second ago. And that just allows for a lot of wind play. So again, the ticket items here are take more club than you need. That's the obvious one. But I like a pit shot stance. So I get into my stance that if I had a sand wedge instead of my 7-iron, I'd be set up for. And then I'm just trying to swing it for a 130 to 150 yard size shot. That one I smothered a little bit because I'm a teaching pro, not a touring pro. But you get the principle. The goal of the shot is to keep it below the wind, low to the ground, and away from trouble on blistery days. And so it starts to create this pattern that's much more predictable, and especially on the windy days where you lose balls out of bounds on 7-iron swings, this could be an easy shot to implement in your bag that allows you to hit more greens in regulation, when typically you might be reloading from the fairway or the rough, or trying to get way more up and downs than you can get done. So try that tip on for size. Let me know what you think.